All right. Okay, we are here with Katie Batty. We're getting live onto our Facebook as well. I think we're good now. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Susan. This is Andrea, and we have a guest joining us today, Katie Batty. I'm actually gonna have Andrea introduce Katie because Andrea, you've been working pretty closely with Katie, and you were just doing a session with her the other day, which
it's so exciting.
Dive in a little bit about. And it's just been awesome working and seeing, like, we've been doing a lot of stuff with Katie over the last, how long has it been? Like at least 6 months.
Yes.
And helping in
Man, Fast and Furious. Okay. Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, okay. So I actually am really interested to hear, Katie, how you came to Geek Out. Because I know for us, the first initial was you came to us in the way that we love, and that's the way we want like all people to come to us. And that was a referral. You got referred to us, right? Yeah. Do you want to tell a little bit about that story and
and what you do?
Yeah. So yes. So I'm a firm believer that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Funnel Hacking Live, and I was, I was really like, McCall Jones, I need her help. So I stalked her, I joined her group, and I did her challenge. And then I met this other guy, and he told me about you. And I was trying to impress him. I was in 2CCX Club. And he's like, oh, I'm sad you're there because you really should be with the geeks. And I was like, who are the geeks? What's happening? So by the time he's done talking to me, I remember messaging you guys because I was like, basically, I just need to sample your product to make sure I want to buy it because I'm pretty sure I want to buy it.
Yep, I remember that.
Like, okay,
is that when you came to one of our challenges? Was that the sampling? Did you come to one of our challenges?
It was.
I'm trying to remember.
Actually, you had just finished a challenge, so yeah. I watched some of the replays, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. And so I was like, yeah, sign me up. Let's do it. So it was very funny, and it happened so fast, but I was ready for it because the program I was in before was not right for me. Like, I was lost. I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, okay, I think these are my people. And it was, better price too. So I was like, win-win all around. So it worked out.
Yeah. I love it. Well, and I think you fit so well with the type of person who we want to work with, in that you're a deep expert. You are not just an expert in terms of, a lot of times I think we claim expertise just because we've read something ad nauseum, or we've, but you have the expertise of not just reading and studying your particular topic, which I'm going to ask you about in a second, but you've also put time in the seat and you've lived it, and you have, I think a true expert is they know all of the places where it's not going to work because they've lived it and they've done it with people, and they have tried to understand it ad nauseum, not just in their head, but in practice. And you definitely exemplify that. So do you want to tell us what you do, Katie?
Awesome. So I feel like we need to go back in memory lane. So years ago, like growing up, I was very insecure of myself. I didn't like me, and I was trying to hide who I was and who, I was just sure I was terrible. So I was trying to put on all the fake faces and be someone else. And I looked very shy and I wasn't happy. And I tried to get happiness from a lot of different, ways. I tried to serve my way. I tried to be a people pleaser, and it didn't work. I did the self-help books, and I would I would learn different things, but then in the end, I would feel even worse because I wasn't doing what they told me I should do. And I just felt terrible. I felt like a terrible person. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way, but I just felt awful. And the first time I met with a life coach, he asked me, like, okay, well, why are you worthy? And in that moment, it was like he was taking away the curtain that I was hiding behind, because I didn't want people to know that I wasn't worthy. And I was like, I am not worthy. You don't understand? I'm a terrible person. And that was the first step where I found out that my worth I was basing in the wrong places. I was trying to work my way to being worthy and get a certain result or makes people happy. And that wasn't the worth at all. Like I was looking in all the wrong places. And that's why I felt so terrible about who I was. And so that was the beginning step. And then I kept, finding different coaches and reading different books. And I got to the place that I loved myself. And I felt really good about me. And it wasn't that I was doing more or serving more or saying yes more, because I was probably doing less of those things, but I actually loved who I was. Like I look in the mirror and instead of thinking, I guess I look semi decent, I was like, I am amazing. Like, how did I get so lucky? And I felt so different. And I knew from the very beginning that like my calling was to help other people feel that way too. Like I could not rest until that was done. Anyway, so it led me on this huge journey, which has been amazing, of entrepreneurship and helping people and being a coach.
Yeah. And you just recently too, I mean, actually we're going to save that to the end because that's like the exciting apex punchline. So, so the thing I loved the most is, I think that there's a lot of people out there that would claim to be a life coach, right? And we've talked a lot about this in terms of, there's the form of coaching that is more of just like people come to me and it's like, what do they want? And they're, you know what I mean? They're setting the agenda. And then I think there's the type of coaching that is more of like, no, I have an agenda for you. We're moving you from here to here. So when we first did the Umbrella Framework conversation with you, I know we talked a little bit about that. And then just being able to crawl inside your world, your Umbrella Framework, I think it's amazing. I love it. And it's this cool combination of a lot of the best practices and thoughts out there, but this like cool, unique Katie twist to it. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, just that experience of your Umbrella Framework? And you said something right before this call that was super interesting that I'd love for you to share with people.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Like I knew what my calling was and I knew what I wanted to do for people. And I had coached people one-on-one before. And so I was like, okay, I know the steps I need to go with them. But the whole creating a membership and Umbrella Framework, I was like, what the heck is that? But it was interesting. Once we boiled it down to what really mattered, it made what I was teaching more direct. I felt like we cut a lot of the fat off of it. And it was so much more clear for me. And I think one of the things I learned the most from you guys, which I'm like, why isn't everyone doing this? Because so many people, they have a course that worked for one person. So they're like, okay, great, I'm going to sell it to everyone. And it doesn't work. And your guys's, what you taught me is to get information, to teach people, and then to iterate your process. And so in all this, I have iterated what my framework is several times, and it has gotten better. And I've cut off things that don't matter. And I've added what needs to be there. And it's like this living thing that keeps going and getting better and better. And what it needs to be, instead of just saying, hey, why isn't this working? It's getting better every single time with every single.
I love it. I love it. So, and we use that Umbrella Framework for content creation, for offer creation, for, we just discovered something yesterday, which I'll talk about in a second, and for the journey that you craft with your people. I want to specifically ask you about, so you did a YouTube approach that is more what I would call what the big boys and girls do, like when you're a little bit further advanced in your timeline as an entrepreneur. You tackled that right up front, which is pretty incredible. So you did all of the market research and everything, and then you created your content and created your YouTube channel. How did you, if at all, use the Umbrella Framework stuff in your content creation? Yeah.
So I did do YouTube way different, because before I even started a channel, I hired a coach. It was about the same time I started with you guys, to help me do the research, find out who they were, what they actually wanted to learn. So it wasn't just me guessing. And then I launched the YouTube channel, which I'm able, because I do have the Umbrella Framework and it's all organized. I'm able to pull from that all the time, so that when I do get to the point where I want to sell something to them, they're already like, oh, I know about that. I want to know more about that. I want to implement that into my life. So it's not just talking about random stuff. And then it's like, oh, by the way, it's already there in everything I do.
Yeah, I love that so much. Okay, so here's another exciting thing that happened with Umbrella Framework. So yesterday, Katie is in one of our advanced workshops, and yesterday we were talking about how do you use quizzes for lead generation, and so we use the Score App method and more of like an education-based quiz instead of like you classically see as like a marketing quiz, right? Where it's like, do you have this problem? Totally leading. You need me then, like it's a little bit more education based. And so yesterday you came up with some really cool stuff around connecting your Umbrella Framework to your quiz, and without revealing too much or like not like burying not revealing your marketing plan. Do you want to say something about that or like just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was great because I think it's so overwhelming to think, okay, I have to come up with a quiz. What am I going to quiz them on? Why am I quizzing them on this? Like it can feel like a lot, but when you pull what's already there that I've already done, it's like, oh, just, do, each piece, just, plug and play each one and you're good. And I was like, oh yeah, it's not that hard, which is usually the story when you guys have taught me stuff. It's like, oh, it's actually easier than I thought. I just needed guidance.
Yeah, so cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I will say, Katie's going to tell you how to get connected with her. And I would say definitely for all of you entrepreneurs out there, you're going to want to see that quiz because it is awesome, like hugely helpful. Okay. So I think my last question I have is, so something really big happened to you lately. You've been just like keeping heads down. You've been doing all the things. You have your content creation on par. You're doing your YouTube channel. You have your newsletter set up. You're working your group track and your nurture. You have your Umbrella Framework. You're taking people on the journey. And tell us what's happened lately in your life.
There's been a lot of things. Are you talking about funnel hacking?
No, the two new, the new. I don't want to give it away. It's yours to give away.
There's been so much that I'm like,
you better give her a hint, Andrea.
I know. Okay, I'll just say you secured some new clients lately.
Yes. So I have, and I've been doing a lot of client interviews. That's what I call sales calls. So yeah, I have actually 3 clients presently, and it's been awesome.
That's amazing.
And to go
within like a couple months.
Yeah, no, I've all of them like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it's been good, and it's interesting because I've learned with you guys so much about like, the customer journey and where, what I'm doing with them, that the path seems so much more clear than it was before. Like I know what kind of questions to ask them. And I know like, oh, I can see that maybe this needs to change because right here we're coming out. Like I see things through a different lens because I have like all that training. Like, oh, this is really good. Like stuff I would have missed I would have never known why they weren't getting the results they needed. But yeah, now it's so much easier.
That's amazing. I love it. It's so exciting. Yay. Okay, Susan, do you have any other questions? Or do we say, hey, Katie, if somebody wants to find you?
I think it's time. Yeah. Yeah.
So all of you amazing. Go ahead, Susan.
I was going to say, go ahead, Katie. Where should people go to connect with you?
Yeah, so I have, if you go to katiebatty.com, you will be able to join my world, and definitely make sure you log into the Facebook page if you want to get free training and learn what's going on and what can help you in your business.
And you recently had started this phrase that I just absolutely love, and that is worthy of wealth. I think so many people, right, is like, I think there's no shortage of people that need that and need to work with that with you. I mean, it's so good, Katie. So good.
Yeah, it's funny because it kind of came to me, but I have this theory that most people think to be happy, they have to reach the success and then they'll be worthy of it. But
Mhm.
I believe that the person has to find the worth in themselves and
Mhm.
have that happiness, and then the success will come to them, and they won't
So
have to
cool.
keep fighting. So, and
Yeah.
it's in everything, whether it's business or personal. You basically get what you think you're worthy of.
Yeah. So true. So, so true. Oh, so good, Katie.
Good message.
Amazing. Yes.
Um,
Thank you for sharing that story too. So good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
really awesome having you on here with us. It, the umbrella framework, we've been talking a lot about it. We are going to be doing an event this upcoming week where we are going to touch on the umbrella framework, I think maybe day 2. Is that right, Andrea?
Mhm.
But if you guys have been watching any of the other interviews we've been doing, will have been hearing us talk about extract and clarify. Extract and clarify has to come first before you can have an amazing umbrella framework like Katie has, which Katie also went through our extract and clarify process. So we're primarily focusing on the extract and clarify next week during the event, but we are touching on the umbrella framework. Also, if you join the event, there's an opportunity for you in the funnel where you can actually get a one-on-one session with us to create your umbrella framework for you, which is awesome. So if you are interested in joining the event that we have happening next week, go to funnelsforsmartpeople.com and all the details are there. You can join us. I think we start on the 25th. And so that will be real fun. We're excited for all of you that have signed up so far, and it's going to be really awesome. Andrea, anything else you want to say about that?
No, other than just Katie, thank you so much for being a part of our world and sharing your gift with the world. And yeah, you've just been wonderful to work with. So thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. I feel like I owe a lot to you guys. Like, you'll be the one when I'm receiving my award. I'll be like, and thank you, Susan. Again.
We're gonna be at the front row being like, yes, yes.
We'll need some worthy of wealth t-shirts to
Yes,
wear in
there
that
we go.
front
We
row.
need your swag.
Yes. Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Katie. And thank you for those of you who are watching right now. We appreciate you. And reach out if you have any questions, and reach out to Katie and join her. If you go to herkatiebatty.com and you opt in, get on into her world, get onto her email list, the next page will link you to her group. Go join her group. It's the Worthy of Wealth group. So really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So
And
good.
we'll see all of you later next time. Take care.
Bye.